My name is Tom and I'm currently walking from John O'Groats to Land's End. For the last few weeks I've been stomping over the Scottish Highlands and this week will be no different. I'm taking on the West Highland Way. This is a 96-mile trek and it is Scotland's first and most popular long distance trail. I'm just leaving the campsite where I've been staying for the last couple of days. I just climbed Ben Nevis yesterday. I've done my laundry, I've had a shower, I'm reset. I've had some trouble recently with my feet, being ill, with the weather. It's just everything has been going wrong, but we've powered through, we've kept our spirits high, and today the sun is out, my feet feel good, my cold is 99% gone, and I'm excited to walk this trail. This is going to be the first trail that I've walked from start to finish. I have had a bit of a lazy start to the day because I got chatting with some guys who had just finished West Highland Way. I was asking them some questions, and the campsite also had a little cafe, so I had a sausage roll and a coffee to start the day off. But we're on the road, let's go find the West Highland Way. I'm really just enjoying the trail so far. I'm just walking through this dappled sunlight of the woodlands up out of the Glen Nevis valley. Excited to be on the road again. You can see Ben Nevis behind me. God, such a nice day. I always forgot that it's summer. I'm up and over and I'm into the next valley. I'm turning around. Ben Nevis just looks so imposing from here. I think because in the other valley you're almost underneath it. Here you can see it still towers above us even though we're still quite high. This morning we had sunshine and now the wind's picking up. We even get a spattering of rain, but the landscape is really cool. Just walking through this valley. Kinloch Leven has just come into sight and this was meant to be my end point for today. I do quite like the idea of just powering on through, getting in some extra miles today. Feels like a bit of a flying visit to Kinloch Leven, in one side and out the other. Literally just long enough to see some unusual garden ornaments, and I'm pushing on. I didn't really feel like I've done enough walking yet, so I'm going to plod on. The only problem with doing that is that the next section is a big hill, so I'm kind of committing to getting over this next hill. This hill is a bit of an undertaking. I'm going to eat some food though because it is 4 o'clock and I've barely stopped all day. Wow, I'm dripping in sweat. I've come up above the tree line and the mountains are pretty spectacular around here. But coming up this high kind of feels like a commitment to getting up and over. I don't really want to camp higher than the tree line, it's quite exposed. If a big storm comes in or just a bit of bad weather, kind of vulnerable up here. This landscape is incredible. You can actually see, Kinloch Leven just there, all the way down to the bottom of the hill. It's been a hell of a trek. So who would have thought I'll just pop up the hill on the other side. It's taken me a few hours, but I'm here. That is the high point, and beyond it is Glencoe opening up in front of me. This section of the path is known as the Devil's Staircase because it is a very steep, winding stair up from the bottom of Glencoe up to where I am now. But I'm going to be going down it, so it shouldn't be too bad. I've just come to the bottom of the Devil's Staircase and I've spotted a very nice little camp spot. I was a bit unsure about where to camp. Glencoe is amazingly beautiful, but it does have a huge road cut straight through the middle of it. So actually this spot is kind of tucked away from the road. It's only a small spot. You could only get a one-man tent. Luckily, I only have a one-man tent. I've done a bit of a backwards day today. I had that sausage roll for breakfast. That kept me going until 2 o'clock, and then I ate these lentils. Which means for dinner I got porridge. Day one of the West Highland Way. Big thumbs up so far. There were a few things I was worried about, but it hasn't been that busy. It really hasn't. And the landscape has been incredible. Walked quite far today, but because I wanted to keep going. I was really enjoying it. Man, this is so good. I really love camping. I love being out in nature. Well, it feels good to have my tent all set up, having my little home ready. My legs feel like nice and worn out, nice and tired. Good. I'm happy being. All packed up. What a cool little camp spot. It's only 2 meters from the path, but it still felt really private. My own little dingly dell to hang out in for the night. And look at where I'm waking up. Amazing. Down at the foot of Glencoe there's a few other people camping right next to the road, so I'm glad I stopped when I did, to be honest. I think I had a pretty nice spot. Previously, when I've been to Scotland and gone through Glencoe, I raved about it. I thought it was one of the most incredible glens in all of Scotland, and it is very dramatic, but the road, being on foot, it just has a very different vibe. Being in isolation, I have been, this busy road cut through the middle of it somewhat destroys the romance. I've just wandered down this valley, and this is the King's House Hotel, which I'm hoping I can get a coffee in. We've got an iron brew and a coffee, the breakfast of champions. Wow, I sat there for almost an hour. I logged onto their Wi-Fi and I was replying to some YouTube comments. I just want to say a big thank you to Surfshark for sponsoring this week's video, because I've been using so many public Wi-Fis on this trip, whether it's public libraries, Wetherspoons, McDonald's. I've been going in, I've been stealing their Wi-Fi, and I've been uploading videos, I've replying to comments, doing my banking. These Wi-Fis are unprotected, which means that when using them, your data is exposed to people. So these things are pretty private, and I don't want my data being exposed to everybody. So I always make sure I've got Surfshark enabled. Surfshark is a VPN, a virtual private network that encrypts your data between your phone, your computer, your laptop, whatever it is, and the internet. This is great because it stops people being able to track your data, harvest your information, and steal your stuff. So the way that a VPN encrypts your data actually allows you to change your virtual location so that the internet thinks you're in a different location to where you actually are. This is really good when you want to expand your choices on Netflix, or you want to try and get something cheaper like YouTube Premium. You can also use it on unlimited devices. It's the only VPN where there is no limit to how many devices you can be logged in at the same time using the service. Plus, if you use our link, which is in the description and in the pinned comment, and use the code TRANSIT, you'll be able to get an extra 3 months for free. Don't forget, there's a 30-day money-back guarantee, so if you don't like it, you can always just get your money back. Banging. I was getting a little bit comfortable sat there. I could have stayed there all day. I just want to say thank you to everyone who's been leaving comments. It's been so nice hearing your support, hearing people say they're enjoying the series. It's really driving me on to keep making these videos. So thanks everyone who's been leaving a comment. It's been so nice to read. It's cool seeing the mountains of Glencoe behind me, but now I have to cross this pretty big fast road. the West Highland Way is the first of Scotland's long distance walks that were created, but that implies that these are all new roads. In fact, these are ancient routes. These are the old drovers' routes. These are the routes that people would drive their sheep or cattle through the Highlands. I mean, come on guys, look at that. Outside of Cornwall, Scotland is where I've spent most time, and it's easy to see why. Wow, such a beautiful country. I've left Glencoe behind me and I've come over this hill, and again I'm surrounded by incredible scenery. I've been walking through Scotland for a month and every single step has been an incredible scenery. It just keeps giving. Just as I was thinking, man, I need a little pick-me-up, there's a little stall by the side of the road selling cans of drink, cold drink, second iron brew of the day. I never normally drink fizzy drinks at home, but I've got a bit of a taste for them on the hike. Is there anywhere you'd rather be than out in the Highlands? I've made it to the Bridge of Orchy. I've been enjoying my chocolate porridge. Coming into Glasgow, it feels like a big checkpoint. I'll have done most of the Highlands, and I'll have also got to as far as I've done my planning. I've not planned anything past Glasgow. It also seems like a really good place to restock, maybe change some bits of equipment. One thing I've been asked about a lot is, am I going to be changing my shoes? So far I've been using these, which are Trail Runners mixed reviews. So for this path, the West Highland Way, I think these are perfect. They're really light, very breathable, and the path here is very good quality, keep your feet dry. For West Highland Way, Trail Runners, definitely a good call. What I've been on up until this point, the Cape Wrath Trail, these just did not cut the mustard. I just had wet feet for like 2 weeks straight. I got terrible blisters. Yeah, they're just not holding up to the strains I'm putting them under. I am going to change my shoes. I do already own a pair of walking boots. They're barefoot boots. Iz is going to bring up my feet boots, and I'm changing to more standard boots, although they are barefoot shoes. Passed over the bridge, which gives this place its name, the Bridge of Orchy. I finally stopped for the day. It's been kind of difficult to find a wild camping spot because I'm in this valley with quite steep sides, and then down the middle of it there's a river, there's a big busy road, there's a train track. It's not the nicest spot I've ever camped at. I mean, it's not bad, it's just kind of close to this big busy road, and that's the train track directly behind me. I remember listening to a Radio 4 programme one time, and they were talking about pilgrimages and how nowadays people talk a lot about the benefits of Eastern religion and meditation, but that in the West we had our own form of meditation, and that was pilgrimage. And this walk has definitely provided me a space to contemplate and think and take a step out of our life and look back in. I've retreated into the tent. I've made a second dinner. We've had dinner, yes, but what about second dinner? It's minestrone and some chicken flavoured instant rice stuff that I had. So it's 9 o'clock. This is normally when I'd set off, and my tent is still up. I'm going to walk a bit less today. There is a few challenges. Wild camping is allowed everywhere in Scotland, except for in the Loch Lomond National Park. There's designated areas where you have to do it. You also have to book on to do it in those areas, and they're all sold out. Today is a bit of a challenge, but I think I found a bothy, all packed up, and the site looks like it was before I was there. Leave no trace. I've only walked about 20 minutes and I've already stopped here at the Green Welly stop, which is basically just a glorified garage. And I just used their toilet, bought a coffee and filled up my water. This small lochen behind me actually has a pretty cool story behind it. It's sort of the Lady in the Lake in reverse. When Robert the Bruce was defeated here, apparently he threw his claymore into this lake. So did his whole army, so somewhere in there might be hundreds of swords. The sun makes all the difference. What a crummy old summer we've had. Sometimes I think it's not so bad, but then I remember this is the good weather and we're going to go into winter again. Jeez. There's a bit of a climb up through the woods, but I want to stop for some food. And the top tip if you're hiking, always try and stop at the top of a hill, and it's much easier to start again. Gonna eat some piri grains. I just stopped at Bain Glass campsite for some chips and a pint of Tennant's, and I finished it and didn't hit the spot, so I went back in and I reordered the exact same thing. I had a second pint and a second portion of chips. I've still got about an hour and a half to walk to the buffet, so I better get going before I get too comfortable. So tonight I am heading for a buffet. I've just come over the hill and I've been greeted with my first sighting of Loch Lomond. And this is Scotland's largest loch. This is the narrow end. It just gets wider and wider. It's like a big triangle. I'm going to be following this loch for the next probably almost 2 days. This whole section's been pretty narrow through very tall bracken, and it's made it a little bit more difficult walking against the current of people walking, so I've had to pull in a lot every time I see someone, and it can be a bit difficult in these narrow sections. This buffet was definitely kind of dark and dingy, and there were mice. Mice actually attacked my rubbish bag. Just chewed up some of my old wrappers, which isn't a big deal. Luckily my food was safe. But yeah, we don't have that far to go today because of the camping situation here in Loch Lomond. So I've booked onto a campsite. It's a little bit frustrating. I didn't really want to. There were no permits left or anything, so I kind of had to. Last night I was staying in the buffet with a guy named Pete, and he is like a lightweight backpacker. He was doing something like 40 miles a day. I picked up his backpack and it was so light and it just felt really nice. And today my bag feels extremely heavy. I think when I get to Glasgow I'm going to go through everything, see what I can get rid of, but to be honest, making these weekly videos, I need a laptop, I need all the filming equipment and the spare batteries. I think my bag is probably over 20 kilograms. It just feels heavy today. The heavens have opened. This is actually the first bit of rain we've had on the West Highland Way, which after the last few weeks we've had, it's actually been pretty good weather, but it's making up for it now. It's a very heavy downpour. The weather was so bad, it gave me a good excuse to nip into the Inversnaid Hotel, and I couldn't resist. I got a burger, and it's amazing the difference that a bit of warm food in your belly can do, and it's almost instant. I think when you're living a bit more of a comfortable life, you don't really notice the effects of food that much, but when you're hiking, I was just feeling so lethargic, so tired, I had to keep stopping, and I've got a belly full of hot food, and I'm just full of energy, my mood's improved. Oh, it's good. Yeah, it's just been very wet today, and I think I'm struggling a little bit with motivation today. I've been walking along the banks of Loch Lomond all day, and it started off as sort of a wide river, and now it has expanded to such a vast body of water. I am, however, close to the end of my day of walking. I think it's coming up to probably about 7 o'clock, and the rain has stopped, which is really nice. These buttons, just give me a tap. It's so frustrating when you have a button, you have to keep pressing every minute. I had a pleasant stay at a casual campsite. I mean, literally go pitch a tent, nice to have a shower, and then I'm off again in the morning. Let's see if I can get this done today. Not only has the rain of yesterday gone, we've been treated to clear blue skies, and it's so nice today. Well, it's early days, but so far today's the best weather we've had since those first 2 days when I started up in John O'Groats. And to be honest, I think I needed it. It's just changed my mood. It's so nice to be walking under blue skies, and it's so sunny. Oh, thank God. The weather's so good, I've decided just to chill out and enjoy the sun. I've come into a little coffee shop called St Mocha, and it's really nice. I've ordered a vegan sausage roll and a flat white. It's such a nice day. It really changes the whole mood. In Scotland they've got something called lawn sausage, which is like a square loaf of sausage, and they had vegan version, so gone for that. It's really good. A really nice stop at St Mocha. I'm supposed to be heading up into the hills, up to Conic Hill, which is a pretty big hill today, and it gives you an amazing view over Loch Lomond. But I'm not going. I'm actually taking a slight shortcut. I'm missing out Conic Hill because I'm hoping to get to my friend's house, which is the other side of Glasgow. I'm in a really good mood today. I think the sun coming out, just enjoying the walk, finishing the West Highland Way. Excited to see Izzy, excited to see my mates. This big hill behind me is Conic Hill, and that is the hill I'm missing out. I feel a little bit guilty. I'm on a bigger mission. The West Highland Way is just one little chapter in this epic hike. Everything's better in the sun. After a brief detour around the bottom of Conic Hill, I'm back on the West Highland Way, and this will take me all the way into Mulgai, which is in the outskirts of Glasgow. Man, I'm a bit nervous about today. It's a long day. I'm going to be exhausted by the end. My predicted arrival time is something like 11 o'clock at night, and that's like without a break. Even on a nice sunny day, it had to rain a little bit, and here it is. I'm just climbing my only major hill of the day. Even though we are approaching the outskirts of Glasgow, it feels pretty wild. It doesn't feel like we're about to enter a city. Because I'm trying to get to the other side of Glasgow today, my walk is actually 30 miles. I'm just coming to Mulgai. It's just the transition from the countryside, from the forest park and into the town was pretty sudden. You're just walking through a park, and then suddenly we are coming to the end of the West Highland Way. So that marks the end of the West Highland Way. It's 5 days, and now I need to get to the other side of Glasgow. It's another 10 miles. What a shock to the system to now be in the city. Big roads, shops. I've wandered through the very centre of Glasgow, and now I'm starting to come out the other side. I will arrive exactly 1 month since I made that last video on his kitchen floor. Wow, what a month it's been. So pleased to be getting there. The sun is like setting now. I set off at 9 this morning, and it's coming up to 9 now. My legs are pretty done. I'm gonna have the next 2 days off.
Tommy!
Oh, mate, I'm so broken. Oh, I've been walking for 12 hours. He lives at the top floor. Oh. I've had a rest up, and I'm now back in central Glasgow. I've come to the central station because I'm due to meet Izzy off the train.